Good evening and welcome to the Lewis University Television Network and the Great Lakes Valley Conference Sports Network. I am Rick Rocky, and I'm here today to take you through the coverage of the Lewis University Men's Flyers volleyball here at Neil Carey Arena as the Flyers are taking on the Queens Royals. Tonight is First Responders Night here at Lewis University, and we are recognizing one of the local police officers here with a official Lewis University men's volleyball.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we direct your attention to center court as we are our first responder of the game, Lewis Police Officer Mike Kelly.
I believe it was Mike Howie is our police officer, first responder, being recognized at tonight's First Responders game.
Police officer for the state of Connecticut. During that time, he worked under the Department of Environmental Protection Agency. After his time in Connecticut, Officer Kelly spent 7 years under the U.S. Department of Energy Security Police at the Argonne National Laboratory in Argonne, Illinois. There, he served the Deputy Chief of Protective Force Training. He went on to serve as the Director of Campus Safety at North Central College in Naperville, Illinois, and since then, Officer Kelly has spent the last 11 years as a police officer for the Lewis University Police Department. Presenting the game ball was University Athletic Director Dr. John Planning. And at this time, we'd like to give a big round of applause to our first responder of the game, Lewis Police Officer Mike Kelly.
Mike Kelly, sorry for the mispronouncing his last name there. Mike Kelly, officer for the Lewis University here. First Responder Night recognizer. Nice job, Officer Kelly. Players are coming out onto the court, waving to the crowd. Kind of a sparse crowd here tonight on spring break week. A handful of parents from Queens. You can see those. All right, there we have our national anthem. We will turn it over to us, the in-gym announcer, to give starting lineups. Looks like we're going to do a little handshake first here. Kind of nice with last couple years with COVID. They didn't do any of the handshakes either before or after the game, so a nice little sign of camaraderie there. Both teams kind of meeting at the net before the game, and they will do the same thing after the game as well, shaking the hands of the referees as well as the opposing players. Queens University is coached by head coach Jeremy Price. He is in his sixth season here at Queens. He started the program 6 years ago. Before that, he spent some time at GCU, so Grand Canyon University down in Arizona, where they were actually part of the MIVA. So Jeremy Price has coached for the in the MIVA for 5 years, so he's probably familiar here at the Neil Carey Arena in the MIVA conference. Coach Dan Friend leads your Lewis University Flyers. Dan Friend is in his 19th season here at Lewis University. Wish I had some statistics on the other coaches in the MIVA, but he just might be one of the longest tenured coaches here in the MIVA. Nobody fact check that for me, please. All right, our in-gym announcer is going to go through the starting lineup, so we'll go through Queens first. Looks like we have a 6'6" middle blocker. Number 3, He would be Nathan Voppel from Germantown, Wisconsin. Number 5 is going to be Sterling Sims. He's a 6'3 junior. Your setter, number 6, a 6'3 graduate student, Brian Schwob. Another setter, I think he actually plays more oppo than setter, is Daniel Leto. Leto is a 6'4 senior. And your middle, number 22, is going to be Matthew Pilch, 6'3 sophomore from Cedarburg, Wisconsin. And number 23, Jack Brinkman, a 6'2 senior outside hitter. And your libero, number 7, a 5'10 senior, Guillermo Jordan. Again, head coach Jeremy Price, assisted by Kyle. Lights just went off. Kyle Grammett. Lights go off in the gym. Here we are for the Lewis lineup. For your Flyers, we are going to start out with a 6'7 sophomore from Dike, Iowa at setter, number 3, Tyler Morgan. 6'8 outside hitter, Max Rocky. He's number 9. He's from Johnston, Iowa. Redshirt junior, Michael Sack. He's your 6'9 middle blocker from right here in Chicago. Antonio Elias Rodriguez, a 6'8 middle blocker from Puerto Rico. Antonio Rodriguez. Outside hitter, John Davis. He's your 6'5 redshirt junior from Naperville, Illinois, just up the street. Your opposite, Christian Prayer, number 23, a 6'4 redshirt junior out of St. Louis. And your 2 liberos, or libros, however you want to say it, number 4, Nico Paula, just got himself fresh off the MIVA Defensive Player of the Week last week for his performance at McKendree and Maryville. Your other libero, Lewis running the 2 libero system, number 5, senior Jason Gibbs out of Texas. Best mustache on the team, Jason Gibbs. And Carter Johnson, can't forget him. The utility player, one of the co-captains of the team. He's going to lead your huddle. Lewis again, coached by Dan Friend. Assistant coaches Jacob Kirschner, Keith Iverson, Eli Irizarry Perez, and it shows Matthew McCarthy and Alex Gettinger here as well. So with that crowd, you can see Lewis doing a little huddle there before the game. Queens is on the court. They're ready to go. Referees grabbing their flags and their volleyballs to get going here. Again, kind of a sparse crowd here, kind of on spring break week. Looks like Queens in their navy blue and white has about 20 or so parents and fans over there. Lewis on the other side of the right side of the gym there on your screen. Actually, you can't see them on this view, but Lewis will have about the same number of fans as well. So kind of a sparse crowd here for a 5 o'clock game on a Wednesday afternoon. Referees are checking lineups. Looks like Lewis will start with Morgan and Sack and Rocky in the front row. If I'm right, maybe Prayer. I'll call that out once I kind of see it here. Final lineup checks by your down referee, Nico Paula, jumping in there for Antonio Elias, number 18. So Paula will be your starting libero for the Flyers. Looks like the serve will go to Queens. That'll be number 13, Daniel Leitao. Lewis will be passing Davis near to you, Paula, and then Rocky. Leitao passed up by Paula. Rocky tipping over the net. Nice job by Paula on the dig. Prayer over the net and slips that one inside the block. So Prayer, maybe a little bit of luck there. Block not quite pressed over the net. Sack goes back to serve, leading 1-0 Antonio Elias into the front row. He'll be flanked on his left by Rocky and on his right by Morgan. Sack back to serve. He'll be passing to the trio of Pilch, Brinkman, and Jordan. Brinkman passes that up. Middle attack to Nathan Vopol for the kill, and Queens ties it up at 1. Vopol, just a freshman, but boy, I tell you, he does not miss a weight room day. Vopol is a man out there. Back to serve, number 22. That's your 6'3" sophomore, Pilch. Pilch passed up by Rocky. Morgan, Elias with the kill. Elias, wicked arm swing for the kill, and Lewis pushes their lead to 2-1. Morgan will go back to serve, bringing Christian Prayer to the front row. Again, Queens passing, Brinkman, Jordan, and Pilch. Leitao is your oppo, hiding out in the back there. There's Morgan. A little bit of a hybrid. Schwob, way outside to Brinkman. Brinkman just owned by Prayer and Antonio Elias. Prayer gave him a little bit of a look afterwards. It's almost like he knew him. Let's see, does Prayer know him? Brinkman is from Ohio. Maybe not. Nice job by Prayer and Elias getting their first block of the game for Lewis. Morgan back to serve. Another nice hybrid. That ball is just out wide. Hybrid, you toss it like you're going to do a float serve, but then you come over the top with your arm swing and do a top spin serve. So Morgan trying to disguise that a little bit. Back to serve. Vopol, your 6'6" freshman. That brings Sims. Had a great game last night against Loyola. Sims comes into the front row. Vopol sends that one way long. And the Lewis players over there love to see a nice long serve like that from the opponent. Rocky, he goes back to serve with Lewis leading 4-2. Front row, that brings in John Davis, your 6'5", redshirt junior from Naperville. He'll be in your front row now. Rocky puts that one off the platform of Jordan. Nice dig attempt there by Paula. Referees are calling that one down. It was close, but I think the ball might have bounced off the floor. Friend is talking to Paula just to make sure. Doesn't want to challenge that. So nice swing. I think I'm not quite sure who had that swing there. It might have been. Yeah, I kind of missed it. I kind of got lost track of there in the dig by Paula. But point for Queens. Now they just trail 3-4. Back to serve is the setter Schwob. Schwab's passed up by Davis. Rocky with the back row bick. That ball is blocked in for the point. So Sims gets his hands on the back row bick to Rocky. Sims with the block. Might have been a little bit of Brinkman there too. Rocky was kind of hitting that in that 40 zone. Back row bick kind of been in the middle. That's kind of more of a 40 off to the right side of the middle a little bit. Schwob back to serve now. Game's tied. Davis passes it off his platform. It's going to be a little bit of overpass, but Morgan handles it. Rocky's going to set this one out to Davis. Davis blocked back by Queens. Prayer finds the floor in front of the libero Jordan for the point. Prayer, first kill for him of the match. So Prayer, 2 kills on 2 swings. He's batting 1,000 for the night. Elias back to serve. Sack into the front row. He'll be flanked on his left by Davis, on his right by Prayer. Elias sends that one just a bit long. Point for Queens. Back and forth game here. Lewis up by 2 at the most. Now Queens ties it up. Brinkman back to serve. That's going to push Pilch into the front row. Lewis is passing. Paula in the libero jersey next to Rocky and then Davis. Paula with a nice pass up to Morgan. Morgan outside to Davis. Davis against a single block, cuts that one angle. Davis with a nice swing. First pass, Nico, Paula. Paula, again, your 6'1" freshman out of Tampa. He is your reigning MIVA Defensive Player of the Week. Prayer back to serve. That's going to bring Tyler Morgan as a front row setter. Prayer. Prayer with a nice serve. Gets no credit for it as Morgan gets an overpass kill. So Morgan with a kill, Prayer just gets a nice serve. I always feel like the server should get like an assist or some kind of a half assist for a serve that turns into an overpass, a kill like that. Prayer pushes Lewis's lead 7-5. Prayer puts that one in the net. So Lewis now leads 7-6. Sims is going to go back to serve. He's your middle for Queens. That's going to bring in Volleyball back into the game. Volleyball, your 6'6" freshman out of Germantown, Wisconsin. Sims, top spin serve. That ball is just a bit long, so Queens with at least 2 service errors. I have the stats right in front of me here. Yep, their second service error, so the libero Jordan back in. Davis back to serve. Rocky, 2 swings, 1 error, no kills for the night so far, just early, but Davis back to serve brings Rocky into the front row. He'll be on the left of Sack. Morgan's over there on the right side setting. Davis sends that one just a bit long. Lewis leads by 1, 8-7. Queens going back to serve with their oppo. That's Leitao. I think it's Leitao. Leitao. I'm going to say Leitao. Leitao back to serve. He's your 6'4" senior oppo. That puts their setter into the front row. Morgan. Rocky dug up by Jordan. Schwab. Brinkman. Dug up by Paula, and Rocky finds Davis in the back row. No touch on the block there. Davis hitting air into the net. So Queens ties it up at 8 with Leitao back to serve, his second offering of this serving rotation for him. Davis, Paula, and Rocky manning the serve-receive pattern. Prayer tucked in the back row. There's Leitao with the toss. Passed up by Davis. Morgan has to go chase it down. Prayer got to stay down below the 10-foot line on the front row. Vopol with the kill. So Vopol puts Queens ahead 9-8. That might be their first lead of the match of this game here, game 1. Leitao back to serve again. Tyler Morgan is a front row setter. He does have a pretty good front row attack options for himself. Paula, Morgan, back to Prayer. Prayer with another kill. This time Prayer goes 3 for 4 now from Prayer's arm. Prayer's been a nice offensive weapon for Lewis this year in that oppo spot, both front row and even specifically more back row like he was there. Sack back to serve. That's going to bring Antonio Elias Rodriguez into the front row. 6'8" redshirt senior Elias is going to man the middle. Rocky on his left, Morgan on his right. Sack passed up by Schwab, set by Schwab. Touch off of the block and out. That's Pilch with the swing. Pilch is your 6'3" Southmore outside hitter, and with that swing, he earns the right to go back to serve. Pilch is going to serve. Queens up 10-9. Paula passes that one up. Morgan's going to have to go get it. High ball out to Rocky. Rocky off the block and sneaks one in for his first kill of the game. Rocky, 1 kill on 4 swings. Nice job out of Max Rocky to get his first kill on kind of an out-of-system ball. Out-of-system refers to when the setter is kind of not close to the net and kind of running kind of a secondary hitting patterns there with his hitters. If he's tight to the net on that first ball set, Morgan would be considered in system, running maybe 3 different hitters. Morgan back to serve. Passed up. No, passed out by Pilch. So Morgan catches Pilch a little bit by surprise. Thank you very much, says Tyler Morgan, and Lewis takes an 11-10 lead. Lewis's front row is going to be manned by Antonio Elias Rodriguez in the middle. Prayer on his right, Rocky on his left. Queens passing Pilch, Jordan, and Brinkman. This one goes to Pilch again. Schwab, high ball to Brinkman. Brinkman roll shot. Morgan picks it up. Paula trying to do a little bit, maybe too much with that one. Sets it high and out. I almost thought he might call him for a double the way that one came out of his hands, but they let the ball play. It just carried over the net and out of bounds. So point for Queens, tied at 11. Vopol back to serve, brings Sims, their other middle, into the front row. Davis, Morgan, Rocky, dug up by Pilch. Schwab to Sims. Sims with another swing, I believe. Is that his second swing? Sims' first swing. Sim is 1 for 1. He had a block assist earlier, 1 swing on 1 kill. Sims coming off a nice performance against Loyola last night, where Queens lost in 3, 26-24 in the 3rd set. Vopol, Morgan, Elias. Queens is going to get this one up. Vopol sends it over. Elias is going to hand pass it. Morgan backside to Rocky. That play works really well because the middle blocker is usually on the setter's right side. So that back set to Rocky or whoever is over there typically gets inside the outside blocker, which was Brinkman at that time. So Rocky with his second kill of the night. Rocky earns the right to go back to serve, tied with Queens at 12. Rocky with a high toss, passed up by Jordan. Schwob gets around the block and finds the platform of Luis Libero for the point. Number 13, that would be Leitao, the oppo for Queens. Leitao now with his first kill on one swing. Back to serve, setter, Schwob pushes Leitao into the front row. Schwob with the float serve. Davis passes it up. Davis gets up and Paul goes down. Davis with a kill. First kill of the night for John Davis. Antonio Elias back to serve. Sack into the front row as a middle. He'll be flanked on his left by Davis and on his right by Prayer. Rocky and Morgan, your Iowa connection is in the back row with Elias. Elias off the platform with the libero, Jordan, and that one's in for an ace. Antonio Elias, ace number 1 of the night for him. Ace number 2 for Lewis. So 2 aces for Lewis, 4 serving errors. 2 serving errors for Queens with 0 aces. So both team kind of at a -2 on serving. So 2 more errors than aces for each team. Elias back to serve, leading 14-13. Another strong serve to Jordan. Schwob, Sims. This ball is out. No touch, so point Lewis. So on a TV game, we would have our TV timeout at this point. First team to 15. So no TV timeout here, of course. So 15-13 Lewis. Antonio back to serve. He'll give his third service offering here. An ace and then a hitting error. So see if Antonio can keep the streak alive here for Lewis. This one passed up by Brinkman. Schwob has to go out and get it. This one's going to go back to Brinkman. Brinkman passed up by Morgan with a nice platform, and Rocky just sends it over to see if Lewis can get a point out of this. Outside to Pilch. No, that's Leitao. Leitao's hitting on the left. This is Brinkman. Brinkman just sneaks it over the block. Brinkman, one of the best performers from them last night at Loyola. I think Brinkman had a really good match. I believe he had 8 kills and 8.5 points for Queens last night in their 3-set loss to Loyola. And Brinkman earns the right to go back to serve, down just 1, 14-15. Paula passes up. Michael Sack just delivers on that one ball. Nice one ball from Tyler Morgan to Michael Sack. Kill. I think Paula might have had that first pass. Nico Paula, first pass on serve. Christian Prayer back to serve, 6'4", redshirt junior, St. Louis. Leading Lewis right now with 3 kills. Jordan the libero with a pass. Sims got some ups there. On the roster, he's listed as 6'3", which is quite undersized for a middle, but he's doing his share of damage for Queens right there. And now Queens trails by 1, 15-16 with Sims back to serve. Ball pull back into the front row. Lewis going to pass Paula, Rocky, and Davis. Paula with an overpass, and Morgan as a front row setter goes up to block, and Queens just puts it right into the net. It might have been a little bit off the net, maybe not the best decision by the Queens attacker, but anyway, Lewis with a point. Davis back to serve, pushing Max Rocky into the front row. He's along there with Michael Sack and Tyler Morgan, a front row setter for Lewis. So look for Tyler Morgan to sneak in a front row attack. John Davis puts that one off the platform of Pilch. Brinkman off of the shoulder of Davis and out. So Brinkman with a nice back row attack. Nice job by Schwob, running a nice offense there on a good pass. Leitao back to serve. Trailing by 1, 17-16. Looks like Leitao is going to drop in a float serve here. There's your toss. Passed up by Davis. Morgan, back set to Prayer. Prayer roll shot, Brinkman. Schwob, that ball is out, but there is a touch. Touch off the block by Schwob, the setter. I think Schwob is handling that close near pass. And Lewis will have their first substitution of the game, Cole Brillhart, number 1. He's your 6'2" redshirt senior from York, Pennsylvania, coming in for John Davis. So Cole Brillhart coming in as an outside hitter position, passing next to Paula and Rocky. Paula, Morgan, outside to Rocky. Rocky, that one's blocked back by Vapol and Schwob. Gibbs is going to come in for Paula as your 2 libero system. They can just swap in liberos whenever they want. So Gibbs, 6'4", redshirt senior from Texas, in as libero. Leitao puts that one into the net, and Lewis ties it up at 18. Michael Sack will go back to serve, but we have a serving sub, Ryan Collins, number 11, from Dublin, California, 6-foot redshirt freshman, into serve for Michael Sack. Front row is Morgan, Rocky, and Elias. Lewis tied at 18. And Brinkman in the back row puts that one through the block and down. So Collins in for 1 serve, and then Sack back in, and Gibbs in as libero. Queens leads 19-18. Back to serve, Pilch. Matthew Pilch, 6'3", sophomore, outside hitter, back to serve. That puts Brinkman into the front row. Pilch puts that one in the net, and Lewis ties the game up at 19. Lewis is going to go back to serve with Tyler Morgan, your 6'7" sophomore from Dike, Iowa. Prayer is now going to be a front row attacker for Lewis. Front row number 23, Christian Prayer. Morgan passed up by Jordan. That ball is in by Vapol. Vapol with a big arm, and your serving sub, number 18, Michael Sasha, into serve for Queens. Sasha, a 6'6" senior. 6'6" senior into serve. Sasha will be serving to the trio of Rocky, Gibbs, and Brillhart. Queens leading 20-19. Gibbs, Morgan, Antonio Elias off the block and out. So Antonio Elias ties the game up for Lewis at 20. So folks, right now it's a game to 5. Vapol back in, Sasha out. And then your libero back in, Jordan. Rocky back to serve. Lewis tied at 20. Tight back and forth game. I think Lewis might have led by as many as 2 earlier. Otherwise, it's been a 1-point back and forth game. Rocky puts that off the platform of Pilch. So Rocky kind of got lucky there off of Sims's face. Sims didn't quite expect that. And Lewis, nice play there to earn the point, and Rocky goes back to serve again, leading by 1, 21-20. Brinkman, Pilch, and Jordan to pass. Lewis's front row is going to be Prayer, Elias, and Brillhart. Rocky up by Brinkman. Back row attack by Pilch, and that ball is down for the kill. 6'3", sophomore outside hitter Pilch ties it up at 21. So now, folks, you have a game to 4. Back and forth, tied at 20, tied at 21. Setter Schwob back to serve. That puts Leitao into the front row, their oppo. Rocky hand pass. Morgan back to Prayer. Prayer over the net and inside the block and down again. I think Prayer's had that happen a couple times now, maybe snuck one inside the block. So Prayer takes that. Point 22, Lewis leads by 1. Elias back to serve. Sack into the front row. Sims front row attacker for Queens in the middle there. Dan Friend going to put in Alec Leonard to serving sub, not early enough, and the referees waved it off. Elias. This is a back set to Brinkman. Brinkman's going to be dug up. Rocky has this one. Morgan back to Prayer. Prayer puts that ball down. And Dan Friend wanting to put Leonard in as a serving sub, and the referees called it off, and Lewis ended up getting the point. So a little bit of an omen there. And Royals, Queens Royals calls a timeout. We're going to put 1:15 on the clock here, folks. Queens a timeout down to 23-21. Folks, if you are watching online here, you are watching the Lewis University Television Network and the GLVC coverage of Flyer Athletics. The Queens Royals are out of the independent conference, not really necessarily a conference, but the Independent Volleyball Association. They do not get a bid, an automatic bid to the national tournament, such as the Conference Carolinas, the EIVA, the MIVA, and the MPFS in the Big West. Those are your 5 automatic bids to the conference. The IVA does not have necessarily a conference that gets a bid. So Queens is playing out of that association. They play a lot of independent schools, and they make the rounds to play other schools when they can fit them in their schedule. But folks, next year Queens will be joining the MIVA. So if no teams drop out, the MIVA will grow to 9 teams next year, with the Queens Royals being the newest team to the MIVA. With that, our clock is counting down to 5, 4, 3, and with that, Lewis will go back to serve with Elias, or is the coach going to put Leonard in? It looks like he is going to sub in Alec Leonard, the 6'8 senior. Number 10, he's out of Lake Grove, New York. Leonard in for Antonio Elias. He's going to be your serving sub. Alec Leonard has a pretty nasty float serve if he can hit it just right. So Leonard back to serve. Front row for Lewis. Sack in the middle. On the right side is Prayer. On the left is Brilhart. Rocky and Morgan in the back row with Leonard. Leonard puts that one in the net. So Royals takes point number 22. So Lewis now leads 23-22. Brinkman will go back to serve for Queens. That puts their other outside hitter, Matthew Pilch, into the front row. He'll be there joined by Sims and Leitao. Gibbs, Rocky, and Brilhart to pass. Brinkman, high toss. Into the net. Lewis now takes set point at 24, so a 2-point lead for Lewis, 24-22. Christian Prayer back to serve. Second timeout for Queens. So Jeremy Price using his second timeout of the match, of the set here, putting a minute 15 back on the clock. So again, folks, the way I was mentioning there earlier, the MIVA currently has 8 teams. There's 5 D1 schools: Ohio State, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Ball State, Loyola, and now Lindenwood, who just went D1 this year. And then they have 3 D2 schools, which would be Lewis, McKendree, and Quincy. Next year with Queens joining us, I believe Queens out of central downtown Charlotte, they are a D1 program. So Lewis, the MIVA will jump to 6 D1 programs and 3 D2 programs. Queens, again, just last night, Queens was playing at Loyola, just on the north side of town there here in Chicago. They got beat in 3 sets. I believe the scores were 19-20 and then 24-26 in the last set. So put up a fight in the last set. I think Loyola did sub out maybe one of their outside hitters, so maybe not playing their top lineup, but still, I mean, that's a team you got to play against. So Queens did a nice job of fighting through that last set, but they did drop at 0-3. Then they come across town here to the southwest side here to Romeoville to take on your Lewis Flyers. So with that, Christian Prayer going to be back to serve, serving for set number 1, up 24-22. Lewis has 2 set points. They'll have 1 on serve here, and if they don't get it here, then they'll get it on Queens' service attempt. Prayer, high toss and a high hard topspin he'll be delivering. Passed up by Jordan, the libero. Schwab back set to Leitao. Leitao through the block, so Sack, from my angle here, I can see that pretty good. Sack and Brilhart didn't quite close that block. And Queens is going to have a serving sub. This is going to be number 4, Brian Camacho, 6-foot sophomore from Florida. Brian Camacho in, serving for Queens, down 23-24, in the net or long. Set 1 to Lewis in the court. We're playing on here, folks. Camacho, passed up by Rocky. Morgan, Sack, blocked down for the point, and now Queens ties it up at 24, and we have a deuce game, and Dan Friend will use his first timeout. So Lewis, 2 set points there, both fought off by Queens. Clock set at 1 minute here now. Coach Friend bringing in his lineup. We have a deuce game, which means it's pretty much, it will be won by 2. So usually you call that when it goes past 23-25. You refer to that as a deuce game. So first team to win 2 points in a row is going to take this one. Looking at some quick stats here. Total kills for the match. Prayer already with 5 kills on 7 swings, hitting 700, over 700 on the match. Rocky with 3 kills. Rodriguez and Davis both with 2, Sack with 1. For Queen, they got a pretty balanced attack. Vopel, Brinkman, Pilch, all with 3 kills. Sims and Leitao with 2. And Schwab, the setter, had 1 kill on a nice close pass to the net that he terminated. So Queens will go back to serve again with Camacho. Lewis will have Gibbs, Rocky, and Brillhart in to pass. Brillhart with a nice, tight, clean new haircut, in case you haven't noticed. Not sure the video quality on this, but Brillhart with a nice haircut there. Lewis tied up with Queens in set 1 at 24. Camacho, Brillhart, back set to Rocky. Rocky, back row attack, he's on the line. That's a hitting error, and Queens now with their first set point coming off here off the arm of Camacho on the serving line. Dan Friend with another timeout here. Coach Dan Friend there pulling Morgan aside, talking through him with what he sees. So clock at 1 minute here. Got 1 more minute for the timeout. Lewis now down set points. They were up 24-22. That puts Queens with 3 points in a row here. Pretty much with their backs against the wall on the first 2. And then now they take the lead on their 3rd point there. Looks like there might be a little bit of a blood situation on the court, maybe. I don't know if Sack's getting taped up. Oh yeah, Sack's getting some trainer's attention to his nose. Might have dripped a little blood somewhere. So coach is looking, that's what you see the player, referees walking around the court looking for some blood. Looks like the fans are coming in a little bit more on the Lewis side. We're maybe up to 25 or 30 fans for the Lewis side here. There were only about 20 here earlier when the game started, but filling up here just a little bit more. It is spring break, so not going to have a lot of students here. So Camacho back to serve. Lewis is going to bring in the same 6, Rocky, Brillhart, and Gibbs, along with Prayer, Sack, and Morgan. So if you look close enough, you're going to see Sack with a little bit of a Kleenex in his nose. Maybe he's taking it out now. All right. So set point for Queens, up 25-24. Camacho back to serve. There's your toss. Passed up by Gibbs. And Morgan goes outside to the 6'2" redshirt senior Cole Brillhart, who puts it off the right arm of the middle blocker and down. So Brillhart with the point to even this up at 25. Folks, you are getting some extra innings here, some extra time here on this first game. Brillhart back to serve. That puts Max Rocky into the front row. Brillhart looking like he's going to topspin, but he ends up short floating it to Jordan. Double, that's going to be a double on their setter, I believe. Yep, the up ref calls that a double. So nice tight pass to net. I thought Rocky was going to go up and challenge that ball at the net, but Rocky playing it smart and not even giving a chance to call an over on him, attacking the ball over the net. So Brillhart back to serve with set point up 26-25. Brinkman. Pilch, that ball is in. Ball was tight, deep in the corner. The referee was right in front of him. I think he called it in. Coach Friend was kind of blocking my view. It was close, but I do believe it was in. So Lewis now tied. Leitao back to serve. That puts Schwob into the front row. So front row setter for Queens. Leitao passed by Rocky. Morgan. High ball to Rocky. That ball is blocked off the hands of the setter Schwob. Rocky with his kill. Now he's hitting positive. 4 kills on 3 errors. He's hitting 1 on 12, so whatever that percentage is, .091. Sack back to serve now. Set point number 3 for Lewis with Antonio Rodriguez at the front row. Sack off the platform, or hands of Jordan. Blocked. Antonio Elias sends that one back over Schwob. Oppo set to Leitao. Morgan. Rocky. This one's going to be played over. Jordan puts it over. Brillhart. And Antonio gets stuffed in the middle by Vopol. So Vopol, 2 big blocks on 2 match points, one against Sack and now one against Antonio Elias. I thought Morgan might pull a little fancy setter dump on that one. Morgan has not pulled that out yet this game. Game tied at 27. Pilch back to serve. Rocky will pass that one. Nope, it was passed by Antonio. This one's going to be to Brinkman. Brinkman dug up by Prayer. So no calls there. Let referees letting them play. Schwab, Pilch. This one's dug up by Prayer. Rocky puts that one off the face of Jordan. Max Rocky not here to make any friends tonight, folks. And Jordan gonna need a little heat check here. Rocky's just doing his job, putting the ball down. Jordan happens right there. They all get it, folks. That happens all the time. So now Morgan back to serve. Set point number, I believe, 4. I might lose track here. Set point number 4 for Lewis. Morgan back to serve. That brings Prayer into the front row. Schwab is a front row setter for Queens as well. Morgan passed up by Pilch. This is Brinkman. Oh, Brinkman just off the block, and it took a funny deflection. Brillhart not able to corral that in the back row. Vopol back to serve, brings Sims into the front row. Lewis either up 1 or tied here the last 3 or 4 points. Queens did have 1 set point, but Lewis has kind of taken most of the set points here, and Vopol puts that one into the net. Lewis now 29-28 with another set point. Rocky back to serve. Rocky, your 6'8" sophomore from Johnston, Iowa. Rocky with 5 kills on the night so far. That ball is just a little bit long. Boy, I thought it was in. He's going to challenge it. That might not be a bad challenge. I think that ball was in. I was going to say that ball is in when it landed, but there's a little bit of a reflection on the court down there. I can't really see what's going on. So challenge system is in effect right now. Challenge review system, CRS as it's referred to, challenge review system. Each coach gets 3 challenges, but if you challenge and get it right, you do not lose your challenge. So if Dan Friend gets this challenge right, well then set 1 is over. Lewis wins 30-28, and Dan Friend does not lose his challenge. He gets to keep that challenge. He'll still have 3. If he gets it wrong, the game is stayed at 29-29. And Dan loses that challenge, so Lewis will just have 2 remaining for the match. If the match does go to a 5th set, each coach gets an additional 1 challenge to use. So technically, challenges could be unlimited, right? So if Dan Friend keeps using challenges and keeps getting them right, he could potentially use 10, 15, 20 challenges at night a game, because if he gets it right, he doesn't lose it. So the down referee is looking at the challenge review system. They have a handful of cameras here in the gym. She can look at a lot of different angles there. They can slow-mo it down a little bit. Obviously, the frames per second of some of the cameras aren't quite what it needs to be to really see that ball when it's moving so fast. So that ball may move a foot to 2 foot each frame. If you're like at 80 frames per second, that ball may move 2 feet in frame 1 to frame 2. So you might not be able to see where it hits on the ground. It might come in about a foot before the line and then bounce and come up about a foot after the line. And you might see the 2 pictures, the 2 shots, a foot before, the foot after. So good news for Lewis is the down ref is taking her time on the challenge. If it was clearly obvious that it was out, she'd be up and at him pretty quickly. So a lot of times there's some fans that sit behind the challenge review system over there, and they kind of sneak it in. You see that in the camera angle now. You see Kirsch. You see Kirsch down there looking at the camera, see if he can get a look at it. But, oh, he was earlier. He couldn't tell. So we'll see. I mean, this is an interesting call, right? I mean, ball was out, so the challenge is unsuccessful. So Dan Friend loses the challenge. He has 2 remaining. Queens now gets a point per the scoreboard. It's 29-29. And back to serve is going to be Schwab, the setter. That brings Leitao into the front row. So So Rocky and Prayer both with 5 kills on the night. Prayer's front row, Rocky's back row. Cole Brillhart's going to be your outside hitter passing and then attacking on the left. There's Schwob, passed up by Rocky. Morgan back to Prayer. Prayer is just on fire. Hits that one right into the breadbasket of Pilch. Pilch can do nothing but catch it. So in volleyball, catch is a lift, and lift is a point for the opposing team. So Antonio Elias back to serve. Set point number, I think I lost track with that challenge and all the timeouts, but let's call it set point number 5 for Lewis. Antonio Elias Rodriguez back to serve. Michael Sack into the front row, flanked on his left by Brillhart. And with that, Antonio Elias, ace for the set. Lewis wins 31-29. I'm not sure what Queens is doing. Are they talking about something in their huddle? Oh, anyway, Lewis wins that one off Antonio Elias' swing. Great job by Antonio Elias from the service line. He has a wicked serve. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. Maybe it can get a little bit out of control, but that one was dialed in 100%. So Antonio Elias, the redshirt senior, 6'8", out of Puerto Rico with the Game 1 winning ace. I'm going to turn my volume down here a little bit and step away for about 2 minutes. The clock is set to 2:25. You're watching the Lewis University Television Network and the GLVC coverage of Flyer Athletics. This is Rick Rocky. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. All right, we are back here at the historic Neil Carey Arena in Romeoville, Illinois, for this Wednesday afternoon/evening session of Lewis Men's Volleyball on the Lewis University Television Network and the GLVC coverage of Flyer Athletics. Looking at Queens coming back onto the court there, you're going to see Vapol along with, that's Pilch and Schwob in the front row. Sims in the back row, number 5, along with Brinkman, number 23, and then looks like Leitao. Jordan will be coming in as your libero. Lewis is sticking with the same lineup they finished set 1 with. So your Iowa connection, Tyler Morgan, 6'7", Southmore from Dike, Iowa, and Max Rocky, 6'8", Southmore from Johnston, Iowa. They played club volleyball with the Johnston Volleyball Club out of Johnston, Iowa. Michael Sack, number 17 from Oak Lawn, Illinois, is the man in the middle there, 6'9", redshirt junior. Your back row players are going to be Christian Prayers, number 23. He's your 6'4", redshirt junior from St. Louis. Jason Gibbs, number 5, is your libero from Bel Air, Texas. He's your 6'4", redshirt senior. And then Cole Brillhart, number 1, back to serve, 6'2", senior from York, Pennsylvania. Passed up by Brinkman. Schwob pushes it way out to Pilch. Pilch off the platform of Brilhart, and point number 1. Queens takes early lead in set 2, 1-0.
Back to serve is Daniel
Leitao back to serve. Leading 1-0. Leitao's your oppo. That brings in Schwob into the front row as your front row setter, so he can attack and block up there. Leitao, off the top of the net to Brilhart. Sack with the one-ball attack. Out of the middle, Michael Sack. Point for Lewis.
Michael Sack to serve.
First, near the end of that first set, both Sack and Antonio got blocked by Vopol near the end there to stave off match or set points, but Sack comes back and puts Lewis's first point down. Sack back with the float serve. Nice flat float serve. Jordan overpass, and Rocky blocked back by Schwob. Nice job by Schwob to get up and block that. And this time Schwob puts the ball down. So Schwob, nice crafty front row setter there. A block on Rocky on the overpass, and that one with a nice dump pass. So Schwob is a graduate. That means he's a 6th-year player, probably redshirted his freshman year, played 4 years, and then got a 5th COVID year. So Schwob knows what he's doing up there. Friend talking to the down ref. You can't see it on your camera there, but you can see Pilch back there. Near on your camera angle there, you can see Dan Friend was talking to the down ref. Not sure what he was talking about. I don't know if it was a lift, a carry, or something. But with that, Queens back, leading 2-1. Pilch back to serve. High toss and a hard top spin. Passed up by Rocky. Morgan, Antonio. That might have been off the touch. Yes. Vopol. So Vopol got 2 big blocks to end set 1 to fight off a couple set points, and now both Sack and Antonio get back at Vopol. So Vopol, your 6'6" freshman, had a nice first set there for Queens. Morgan back to serve, number 3. A little bit of a black tape there around his wrist. Morgan, nice hybrid. Back set to Vopol. Vopol dug up by Gibbs. Rocky's going to set this to Brilhart. Brilhart roll over to Jordan. Brinkman dug up by Gibbs. Rocky's going to take this. Back set to Prayer. Prayer puts that one in the net, and from my angle here, that ball was clearly below the tape, probably about a foot down from the tape, so Prayer trying to cut that a little bit too sharp. Vopol back to serve. Queens leading 3-2. Sims, your 6'3" junior, goes to the front. He'll be manned on his left by Brinkman, on his right by the setter Schwob, and Vopol puts that one in the net. I think he ended set 1. His last serve in set 1 was in the net too, so Vopol maybe trying to do a little bit too much back there at the service line. Rocky goes back to serve, tied at 3. Cole Brilhart in his fresh haircut into the front row. Rocky puts that one off the platform of Pilch. Schwob to Sims. Rocky's going to give this one to Prayer. Prayer, nice roll shot over to Leitao. Cole Brilhart, the man of the match. Brilhart, I think a solo block, but because Antonio jumps up there and gets close to it, I think Antonio is going to get a half a block in the stat sheet, but I think Antonio was like, Cole, that was all you. So let me look for those stats that come flying through here, but block assist, I'm probably going to see half for block assist for Brilhart, and then another one for Antonio. Rocky, a little bit of a low toss there, has to kind of ease it over. Way back to Leitao. Leitao finds a hole in the block and gets that one over. Yeah, block assist, Brilhart with 1. And now Antonio adds 1 more to his count, now with 2. So back to serve is Schwob. He is your 6'3" graduate setter, number 6. That puts Leitao into the front row as an oppo. Gibbs, nice sweet platform pass. Back to Prayer. Prayer just cuts that one almost in front of the 10-foot line. Prayer with a kill for Lewis. And now Lewis leads 5-4, back to serve. Antonio Elias Rodriguez, the man of the set for set number 1, ended it with a walk-off ace. Antonio Elias, all necklace team for Lewis. He loves wearing the chains. In my book, all necklace team and all finger tape team for Lewis. Antonio Elias just destroys that serve, but it passed up by Pilch. But then he digs it up, and Brilhart's going to chase it over. So the pursuit rule is if the ball goes out of bounds outside the antenna over the net to the other side's team, you can chase the ball down and then send it back, but it has to come back outside the antenna again, and then you could send it over the net from there. So Brillhart would have had to chase that ball down and get it back on Lewis's side outside the antenna, and then a player would have had to send it over. So that's your pursuit rule in volleyball. Brinkman, Gibbs kind of off to his left side. Brinkman with an ace for Queens. That pursuit rule is not always available in a lot of sports, a lot of venues. I think you got to have like 6 feet of clearance on both sides of the net in order to allow that pursuit rule. Most colleges will have it, but sometimes high schools might not allow it because of not having enough room. Brinkman back to serve, puts that one in the net. So ace in a net serve is a net 0 for Brinkman at the line, an ace in an air, but he did get 1 point on serve, and that's what you look at, folks, is side out percentage is how often you side out on the other team's serve. So if they never win a point on serve, your side out percentage would be 100%. So you want to just be able to get a point on serve. Getting 1 point on serve is a big deal in men's volleyball. Getting runs is nice. And Prayer returns the favor of Brinkman. Number 23 for Lewis just aced Queens after number 23 from Queens aced Lewis. So Prayer pushes the lead to 1, 7-6. Off the platform of Jordan, the libero. Leitao blocked up. Morgan comes in, nice job. Gibbs is going to set Prayer in the back row. Prayer again, that's his 3rd sneaky attack. So Prayer looks like he's going to get totally blocked, hits the ball right in the block, and somehow it sneaks over the net. As a hitter, if you slow your arm swing down, then the block technically is coming down a little bit, and they're bringing their hands back as they're going down, and that makes it a little bit easier to sneak that ball in between the block there. So Prayer's done that 3 times now. Pilch, dug up by Rocky. Brillhart, oh, nice job. Was that the ball hitting the net? I think something hit the net. Ooh, Christian Prayer doing it everywhere. Prayer, the heavy-armed 6'4" redshirt junior from St. Louis. Prayer notches kill number 9. The board shows 9. Quick stats here. Oh, I was a little bit behind. Let me get my sidearm stats figured out here. But Prayer shows 9 kills in the night. Sims dug up by Gibbs. Prayer again. Again, Prayer puts it inside the block. That is crazy, folks. You just don't see that happen very often at this high level of a game. I totally think the block is going up, and Prayer's, they're not judging his arm swing, and they're actually coming back down as he's swinging the ball. But Gibbs, Jason Gibbs, folks. Hello, Jason Gibbs. Nice dig there off of the hard swing by outside hitter Pilch. And Prayer going on a little bit of run from the service line there. Dug up by, Brillhart, nice job. Morgan going back to Prayer again. Prayer puts that one a little bit out. So nice run by Christian Prayer. Hand clap for Christian Prayer. Nice job there. Lewis faithful Lewis players looking for a touch. Clearly not a touch. Back to serve is going to be Sims for Queens. He's your 6'3" middle hitter. Like I said, undersized, but boy, he's playing a man's game out there as a middle. Nice job for Sims. Max Rocky passes up dimes to Morgan. Morgan, So Morgan with a little bit of a dump. They're calling this I don't see the referee singling anything. You can actually not have a double on the first ball over unless it's like 2 separate contacts that are 2 separate motions by your body. So I think Volleyball went up and blocked it, and then the ball came down, and you kind of, maybe that first one wasn't a block. I can't remember exactly how they called that one, but interesting here. Lewis is getting a free ball. We're going to run something here. Free ball in system. Morgan, Rocky, boom. Whoa, folks. So Lewis does that little, I don't know what they call it, maybe a little bit of a stack overload play where the ball gets passed to the left side and Morgan comes over to set it. Sack is right there. Rocky's right there. Sack goes up. The defense goes up with Sack. Defense comes down. Max goes up and kills it. So nice job by Lewis running that little play there. Brillhart with the short serve. Swobe, Leitao, off the hands of Rocky. We're going to play this one. Block touch. Morgan, Sack, boom. So great job by Max Rocky touching that. Touching the ball at the net is completely undervalued. I mean, you just don't give it enough credit in volleyball. You have an attacker going back there, swinging and hitting the ball 60, 70 miles an hour. You get a block touch on that, and that ball goes up in the air. Well, now you're in system. Your back row player can pass it up to your setter, and you are just like getting a free ball. So block touches at the net. A blocker's job is not to block every ball straight down. Your blocker's job is to take away space that the hitter wants to hit in, right? Make them do something different. Make them hit around you, make them hit over top of you, make them roll shot, make them do something out of their comfort zone. And then your back row team needs to pick that up. If your front row blockers do their job and the hitter takes something off it, or you can get a block touch, the back row has to do their job and get an in-system ball to the setter. And I talked about this a bit earlier, but in-system is when the setter gets a really good pass and the setter can pretty much run all their hitting options. They have a great pass, so they can set middle, they can set their backside hitter, which in this case is Prayer, they can set their outside hitter, which in this case is Rocky, or they even have an option to go back row to Cole Brillhart. So in essence, he has pretty much 4 hitting options. And even in that case, Tyler Morgan being a front row setter, he could actually tip the ball or dump the ball down. So really hit 5 attack options. Out of system is when the ball is passed to the setter and is kind of maybe getting behind that 10-foot line, somewhere around there, and your setter's hitting options are a little bit limited. They're probably just going to throw a high ball out to the outside hitter, and then the defense can react to that and really kind of almost cheat over and get like either 2 or 3 blockers on those hitters. So let's see if Lewis can continue to go in system here. Prayer had a nice run first. Now Brillhart's going back. I think Brillhart scored a couple points on serve. Brillhart has that nice short serve passed up by Pilch. Pilch dug up by Prayer. Morgan's going to chase it down. This is Brillhart from the back row. Gibbs recycle back in system. Rocky. So I use the word recycle there. So if an offensive team doesn't have a really good attack option and they just kind of send it into the block, hoping that it comes back, that's exactly what Brillhart did. Tipped it into the block, right back to Gibbs. Now we go from a back row attack to an in-system 3 attacker kind of a situation with Morgan. So nice job by Brillhart. Brinkman off the block of Sack and Rocky. That counts as a kill for Brinkman. Nice job by Jack Brinkman, your 6'2" senior out of Bishop Watterson, Ohio, high school in Ohio. So Queens was trailing by 7. They were doubled up. Now they're down by 6. Gibbs passing dimes to Morgan. Oh, nice job by Morgan. Vopel with a hand set. Triple block back by Lewis. This is lawful. Oh, Rocky and Sack flexing on that block. Michael Sack showing all the muscle. So Michael Sack with the block earns the right for his position to go back to serve. It'll be Ryan Collins, everybody's favorite 6-foot libero, DS out of Dublin, California. Collins played his club ball with the fabulous Beta Bay Club out of Northern California. Collins back to serve. Rocky gets a hand on it. And Brillhart trying to do probably just a little bit too much with that. Probably trying to hit a perfect shot, just barely over the net. He probably had a little bit more room for error there. He could have probably put it over on the 10-foot line. At least maybe get a bad play out of Queens. But nice job by Collins with a good tough serve there. Lewis read the setter dump on that too. Pilch passed up by Brillhart. Morgan, front row setter. Never want to joust the setter. Oh, nice job by Brillhart, right where he needs to be. So Antonio and Rocky weren't quite able to get over there to Leitau's swing, and Brillhart read the gap perfectly and was right there, just off his arms a little bit. That ball's coming at you at 60 miles an hour. It's kind of hard to react pretty quickly there. Lewis leads by 5, 15-10. This is Pilch. Oh, Rocky passing dimes, and Antonio just dug up by one arm by Leitau. Crazy. Brinkman triple blocked. Rocky, Antonio, and Morgan. So your Iowa and Puerto Rico connection with a triple block. So according to the stats there, each of them is going to get 1 block assist. So in your stats, this is going to look kind of funny. You're going to see 3 block assists for that one play. So technically that counts as 1 total block. So really it'd almost be a third of a block each. But really in the stat book, we'll give them half a block each. Morgan back to serve. Nice hybrid serve. Schwob. Oh, are we going to get it? Are we going to get it? Oh, nice job by Morgan to play that off the net. So Brinkman's going to be out. This is going to be Schwob. Back to Brinkman. Wow. Now, folks, if you go back and watch that in slow motion, Brinkman came all the way over and dug that ball, and then he got all the way back out to hit on the outside, and not just like in the 3 zone, but all the way out to the 4 or 5 hole. So nice job by Jack Brinkman, the 6'2" senior, to get out there and really kind of play defense and turn that into an attack option. Queens trails by 5. Mulkey back into serve. 16. I'm sorry, I say back into serve. He never served before. So on that overpass, unfortunate for Queens, they put that overpass in the net. Fortunate for Lewis with the point. Not quite sure who that was in the net. We'll probably see it here on the play-by-play. Rocky back to serve, leading by 6. Just tickles the top of the tape. That ball is going to be out and no touch. Out, no touch. I think the net was bouncing from the serve. The serve hit the net. So Rocky's serve hit the net, was bouncing a little bit. Queens thought maybe there was a player in the net there, but not. Rocky back with the serve again. Oh, another great serve by Rocky off the platform of Jordan. Brinkman dug up by Rocky. Oh, Rocky, nice job. And then Morgan's going to get the... Morgan trying to pay off Rocky. And Rocky 0 for 3 from the back row here tonight. Queens is doing a great job of reading the back row attacks. Rocky thought he snuck that one inside the block. Thought he kind of pulled a Christian prayer on that one, but not. Sims, nice job pressing over the net. Schwob back to serve. Gibbs, hand pass. Antonio is delivering. Antonio, what can he do for you? And with that, Antonio Elias Rodriguez back to serve. Jared Phelan, number 12, the redshirt junior from McKinney, Texas, serving sub for Antonio. So interesting decision here by the coach. Antonio finished off the last set with an ace on his service, and he's going to serving sub in here for Jared Phelan, the 6'4", 6'3", what did I say? 6'3", redshirt junior. Phelan off the platform of Pilch. Sims blocked out by Sack and Prayer. So in volleyball anymore, folks, players can't really lie and say, no, that was in, or no, I didn't touch it. The coach is going to want to know, because the coach is going to challenge it and use the challenge. He wants to know for sure what they saw. So the Lewis players down the line there saw that was blocked out. So clearly, Coach Friend not wanting to challenge that. Brinkman back to serve. Passed up by Gibbs. Morgan's going to go all the way back to get it. Prayer. Looks like Sims getting a little feisty there on the block. Sterling Sims block on Prayer. And with that, Queens now cuts the deficit to 5. It's 19-14. Brinkman back to serve, trailing by 5. Passed up by Rocky. It's going to be an overpass. Sims again with this one. Rocky puts it over the net. Morgan, front row, back row setter, can't attack that. So Dan Friend calling a timeout. Brinkman with a couple strong serves in a row. So I'm just checking my iPad here for the sidearm stats. They're not seeming to be updating for me. It still shows 3-4 in set number 1. So something is not updating here. Maybe just the score is not updating, but everything else is. Yeah, it looks like my stats are maybe good. So with that, Queens leading 19-15 now, or sorry, Lewis leading 19-15. Queens, nice job from the service line by 6'2" senior Jack Brinkman. Coach Friend talking over with Lewis. I think really this is a matter of getting a good pass on Brinkman's serve and then be able to run a good in-system ball. I think the first ball that Sims blocked was a pretty far off the net pass to Morgan, and he set Prayer quite a bit off the net, and Sims was able to read that. And that second ball that just happened right there was an overpass that Sims was able to handle at the net with a kill. I'm trying to think, my sidearm stats, again, there is something kind of weird with this. It is showing set 2, but it isn't showing the score for set 2, but I think everything else is accurate. All right, Brinkman back to serve, trailing by 4. Brillhart, Rocky, and Gibbs to pass. Prayer is going to be a front row oppo, but he's kind of almost in a serving pattern. Looks like Lewis is maybe going to try to pass 4 people. And with that, Looks like Brinkman was trying to serve at Prayer, the new guy in the pattern. Hey, serve the new guy, and was just trying to over target him and just hit that ball out. So Lewis now the first one to 20, leads by 5, 20 to 15. Prayer going to do a high hard top spin back to serve. That brings Morgan into the front row. So now Morgan can actually attack and block front row balls. So nice job by Prayer with an ace. That might be his. If I look up at the stat board there, well, the board is nothing. So Prayer with the kill, or the ace. Lewis leads 21-15. I'm a little bit bugged out here by my sidearm stats. It's not updating for me on my device here. Let me try my other device and see if that will update for me. Let's see, sidearm stats. Lewis versus Queens. Oh, maybe something's wrong with sidearm stats. Or my phone, I just pulled my phone. If I have my iPad here, my phone shows the same thing. It shows 3-4 in set 2. All right, so much for sidearm stats. Maybe just a score. I need to double check that kind of stuff. But folks, if you are joining us here, we're 30 seconds left to go in the timeout. Queens called their first timeout of set 2, down by 6, 21-15. Christian Prayer back to serve for Lewis. First set we won, I think it was 31-29. I probably should have wrote that down somewhere. Let's say 31-29. Thank you for joining in our broadcast tonight. You're watching Lewis University Television Network and the GLVC coverage of Flyer Athletics. I'm Rick Rocky, the voice of Lewis men's volleyball for tonight. Prayer back to serve. Queens is going to be passing. Near to far on the screen is going to be Brinkman, Jordan, and Pilch. Prayer, high toss. Cross-court swing, dug up by Jordan there, passed it by Jordan. Brinkman, that ball is just a bit wide. We might have our first challenge there. Line judge called it out. The entire Queens team and the assistant coach agreed, so no need to challenge that one. Nice job by Queens assistant coach here to save his head coach from a challenge. Prayer puts that one in the net, so a couple serves for Prayer to get a little bit of a run there, but then a side out for Queens. Serving sub going to be number 18. That's Michael Sasha. Sasha is your 6'6" senior out of Pasadena, Maryland. Yes, folks, Pasadena, Maryland. Sasha back to serve. He has this weird float serve. Brillhart thinking that was either long or wide. I thought it might be long at first. Then it ended up dropping in like 5 feet short of the end line, but it was almost outside line. So I don't think Brillhart will let that happen again. Queens cuts the deficit to 5, 22-17. Sasha again back to serve. Brillhart, Rocky, and Gibbs. This one's going to go to Brillhart now. Hand pass to Morgan. Morgan to Sack. Sack goes straight down. So up the elevator and down the chute goes Michael Sack with the kill, and Lewis now 23-17. Siver Drolsum, a 6'6" freshman from Norway, in for Morgan. Kevin Calling, your 6'8" senior setter from Naperville, in for Prayer. So Lewis flipping their setter oppo spots. Calling for Prayer, Siver for Morgan. So for you volleyball nerds out there, that puts Cole Brillhart now as your OH1, and Rocky is now your OH2. Brillhart, short serve. Mulkey passes this up. Schwab, Mulkey, is that his name? Riley Mulkey. He's a graduate student. I think he might have played somewhere else last year. I could pull up my stats, but for some reason I think Ryan Mulkey played at Mount Olive or some Conference Carolina school last year, maybe Belmont Abbey. Leitao back to serve, passed it by Gibbs. Calling out to Rocky. Rocky tips over. This one's dug up. Nice job by Cole Brillhart with the one hand. And Mulkey off the block again. So Mulkey providing a little bit of a lift to Queens there. And now Queens cuts the deficit to 4. It's 23-19. Riley Mulkey. out of Charlotte, North Carolina, so he's a hometown boy. Leitao back to serve. Passed it by Gibbs. That's tight. So Calling is a back row setter now. So if Morgan was in there, he would have been a front row setter. Calling, a back row setter, cannot block that. Has to just kind of let it go. Hopefully maybe there's a miss hit. Queens 12 by 3, down 23-20. Leitao back to serve. Schwob is in the front row for Queens as the front row setter. Gibbs back set to Sever Drolsum. And Drolsum, the Norway connection, puts that one down. Sever Drolsum, the 6'6" freshman out of Norway with a kill, and he's going to give Lewis 4, count 'em folks, 4 set points, leading 24-20. And none other than Oak Lawn product Michael Sack back to serve. Sack, the 6'9" redshirt junior. He's got a nice flow. Sack, Swob, Brinkman, Sack. Oh, Sack's like, hey, I'm a middle, not a libero, but come on, Sack. Sack's going to hate himself. Sack's like, I got to get that one. And Gibbs comes in and gives him a hard time for it. So Gibbs, Rocky, and Brillhart in the back row. You're going to see them near to far. It's going to be Rocky, Brillhart, and then Gibbs on your camera when it goes back to pan to them. Pilch back to serve. That ball is out long, and Queens gives Lewis set 2 with an error serve. So set 1, won by Lewis on an ace by Antonio Elias Rodriguez. Set 2, won by Lewis on an error by Pilch. So 25-21 is set 2. I'm going to turn down my mics here and take a little break here. Looks like the set break here is a 5-minute break between sets 2 and 3, folks. So, hey, join us here on Friday for our Flyers taking on Erskine live here at the Neil Carey Arena. That game will have a first serve at 6 p.m. And don't forget, folks, all your coverage for Lewis Volleyball is available on both Lewis University Television Network, which is our YouTube channel, and the GLVC Sports Network. So 2 options there to check out all of your Lewis Flyer action. Looks like the camera is going to go to a fan frenzy where you get to serve a volleyball for a chance to win some kind of a fabulous prize. I'm going to go ahead and turn my mic off here and step away for a couple minutes. I'll come back with about a minute to go here to kind of set you up for set number 3. Folks, you're watching the Lewis University Television Network and GLVC coverage of Flyer athletics. right, folks, welcome back to the Lewis University Television Network and GLVC coverage of Flyer Athletics. We are here in the historic Neil Carey Arena. About 1 minute to go until set 3 starts. Looks like Lewis is warming up over there. Looks like we have Ryan Collins setting. There's John Davis with the black sweatshirt. Here comes in Daniel Haber, 6'6" freshman, along with Chase Selahowski, your 6'6" redshirt freshman. Their receiver, Drolsom, had a kill late in the match, and this is going to be Wesley Yusk, 6'7" middle blocker out of Florida, played with the fabulous 352 club. And that was Kevin Calling, your 6'8" setter, and then John Davis there at the end. So Ryan Collins getting his hands a little dirty doing some setting there. Referees are approaching back out to the court. Looks like Queens is playing. Looks like Riley Mulkey is getting the start for set 3 here in place of Nathan Vaupol. Nathan was your 6'6" freshman. Pretty beefy dude there. Doesn't look like he's injured. Maybe just the coach saw something there that he wanted Riley to come in and execute on. So Riley Mulkey along with Sterling Sims, your middles. Flip-flopping those two, yep. And then your outside hitters are Pilch and Brinkman. Oppo is going to be Leitao. Setter Schwob again. And then number 7, Guillermo Jordan. Jordan in is your libero, number 7. For Lewis, same starters as set 2 and the same people that ended set 1. That would be front row outside hitter Max Rocky. Michael Sack will be playing in the middle. Tyler Morgan will be a front row setter. Back row will be Cole Brillhart. He'll be your other outside hitter along with Antonio Elias. Gibbs is in for him at libero. And then Christian Prayer again with his strong arm back in the back row there. For Lewis, looks like Rocky has 7 kills. Looks like the board in the gym here looks updated. The sidearm stats online, looks like they just got updated. Brinkman passed up by Rocky. Sack. Nice job played by, nice job by Michael Sack. So Michael Sack got dug, and he said, you know what, I'm going to turn around and get me a block out of this. So Michael Sack, nice job getting the block there. It looks like we are updated on sidearm stats here. So Rocky with 7 kills, Prayer with 10. Looks like Sack and Rodriguez both have 4 kills out of the middle. Looks like Brillhart needs to buy the Velcro shoes. They keep coming untied. Come on, Brillhart. Sack back to serve, bringing in Antonio Elias Rodriguez, your 6'8" redshirt senior into the front row. He'll be flanked on his left by Rocky and on his right by Morgan. Sack off the platform, Brinkman. Sims dug up by Brillhart. Nice job. Get over the net. Yep. Oh, Brillhart. So Brillhart tipped that over the net. Sims blocked it, and I believe that was going to be considered a block. So Sims could have actually played that next ball of himself. Yeah. Coach is talking to Sims about that. So the block does not count as a touch. So if a blocker blocks the ball and the ball comes down in their lap area, they can actually hit it up. And that would be the team's first touch that hit up. Oh, Sack trying to pull a Cole Brillhart serve out of his pocket. Drops that one in the drink. And Lewis leads 2-1. Sims back to serve. Mulkey, your 6'5" grad student at the net. Mulkey's got a nice chiseled beard there. Nothing like what Dan Friend and John Davis have, though. Mulkey's probably got a little beard envy. Sims puts that one in the net and gives Lewis a 3-1 lead. Sims running out. Jordan back in. Morgan back to serve. Morgan, your 6'7" sophomore from Dike, Iowa. Played with the U.S., I think it was a U21 team this last summer down in Cuba, and they won gold. So Morgan was our backup setter for that team. Oh, that one sends a little bit long. So Morgan trying to do a little bit of a hybrid, caught that one flat, kind of spatulaed it, hit like a spatula out of bounds. So we call that spatching it out, hitting it flat, it just carried long. So Morgan tucked back in the back row there behind Rocky. Rocky will be hitting right side. Christian Prayer will be hitting left side on this first ball over the net serve by Leitao. Brillhart, Morgan, back to Rocky. Rocky dug up by Brinkman. Schwob pushes that one out to Pilch, and Pilch gets that through the block and down. So it looks like Rocky and Morgan have that little back set there on that rotation 1 that they're in. So rotation 1 means the setter is kind of in the back serving position. That position there means they're in rotation 1. That means your OH1 Rocky is going to be tucked in right there beside him. Passed up by Brillhart. Morgan outside to Prayer. Prayer puts that one in the net, and now Queens takes their first lead of set 3. They're up 4-3, folks. A little bit of a low set by Prayer, or maybe a little bit of a late approach, but either way, Prayer puts it in the net. I don't even think a blocker's arm got on it. Prayer with 17 swings and 10 kills tonight, hitting .350 for the night so far. Brillhart, another good pass, another good set to Prayer. This one a little bit too hot to handle for Brinkman in the back, but that's all you want out of your front row blockers, folks, is to get a hand touch on that. Brinkman, if he was a step or two farther back, could have played that up, and then Queens would have been in system ready to fight back. But Prayer, with kill number 11 on the night, ties it up at 4. Rocky goes back to serve. Brillhart will enter into the front row for Lewis. Rocky drops it off the platform of Brinkman. Schwab dug up by Brillhart. Rocky sets it over to Prayer. That's going to be tight. Oh, Prayer just destroys it off the block, but dug up by none other than Jeremy Price, 6th-year coach for Queens. Price with a nice platform on that dig, but unfortunately he's an illegal player, so Lewis with a point. Prayer kill number 12, leading the way for Lewis, leading the way for the match. 12 kills for Prayer. Rocky back to serve. Off the platform of Jordan. Schwab, Leitao, dug up by. Oh, Leitao dug up by Gibbs, tight to the net. Nice job by Antonio Elias there, but just kind of a scramble play, and Queens wins that point and ties it up at 5. Pilch back to serve, pushing Brinkman, their stud outside hitter, to the front row. Pilch passed up by Rocky. Rocky passing dimes. That's going to go to Elias. So that's why middles typically hit well over 400 or 500 as a hitter, because they're typically hitting a really good pass off of a single block or against a single block. So Antonio and Sack doing a great job tonight. I think Antonio is hitting 444 and Sack is hitting 600. So add that together, you get 1,100, and I don't even know what that means. But Sack hitting over 600 and Antonio over 400. Oh, nice ball by Antonio. That's deep in the corner and in. That ball was in. It almost hit the oppo, Leitao. Leitao was in the court, and he had to jump out of the way, and it hit right where he was standing. Nice job by Antonio. That's at least ace number 2 tonight for him. 2 aces and 1 service error, folks. That's awesome. In men's volleyball, you almost always see more service errors than aces by player and in total. Wow, Antonio throws that one up into the moon. Passed up by Pilch. Back set to Leitao. Has to kind of jimmy his feet to get that one. Rocky's going to step in and set. Oh, nice set to Prayer. Oh! Rocky comes all the way up to set that. And the reason he does that is because the libero Gibbs is not in. Typically when your setter digs the first ball like Tyler Morgan did there, your libero steps in and will set that. In front of the 10-foot line, they have to use their platform to set it. But behind the 10-foot line, they can use their hands. But because Antonio is in as a middle serving, he's playing back row where the libero is, so Rocky steps in and takes that second ball when Morgan sets it. Antonio, a nice little run at the back at the service line. Oh, nice short serve by Antonio. Schwab. Oh. Rocky losing a little skin on that one. Antonio, nice reaction here to try to dig that ball. Lewis leads 8-6, so a nice little 2, maybe 3-point run by Antonio back at the service line. And Mulkey goes back to serve, bringing Sims into the front row for Queens. Gibbs, Rocky, and Brillhart are going to pass. This one's going to go to Rocky. Hand pass to Morgan. That's Butter. Morgan backs it to Prayer. Prayer blocked in. Sims doing a great job for Queens. Number 5, Sterling Sims, a 6'3" junior middle blocker from, yes, folks, Goodyear, Arizona. Goodyear, Arizona. Sterling Sims. That is probably block number 4 for him on the night. All of them block assists. Rocky passes this up. Outside set to Brillhart. Brillhart blocking air on. Let's see what the down ref. She'll signal the number to the coach. They usually signal the number. Might have been number 5. I think she kind of signaled to number 5. Sterling Sims. So point for Lewis. Nice job by Brillhart. Touch shot over the block, causing the block to reach in and touch the net. Prayer back to serve. Lewis leading 9-7. Tyler Morgan going in the front row. Wow. Prayer's got quite the arm. Outside set to Brinkman. Roll shot up by Gibbs. That's not going to be dug. That's going to hit the ground. Nice job by Brinkman to do camouflage or disguise that attack kind of at the last second, kind of slowing his arm swing down, rolling that shot over the block. That's a pretty tough shot to master, but if you can do it well, you can definitely hide the fact that you're rolling it. Real hard. Morgan, sack. That ball is in. Boy, the line judge there kind of lifted his flag up a little bit and then went down. As a line judge, you're always told to kind of pause for about a half a second and then make the call. You never want to just knee-jerk reaction, make that call, because sometimes it looks like you're going to switch it. But I think that was the right call. But looks like we're going to have a challenge here from Coach Jeremy Price. So he's going to challenge that the call was in. So typically when you're an up ref or a down ref, you have the option to the up ref has the opportunity to overrule the line judge. And as an up ref myself, I would only kind of really overrule the line judge when the ball is like within maybe 5 or 6 feet of them on the line near the corner there, because that ball moves pretty fast, and sometimes when that ball is close to you, it's kind of hard to get your eyes to the line quick enough to be able to see that ball bounce. If the ball is kind of down the line, farther away from the line judge, they typically have a much better angle at that. So unless I have a reason to overrule them, like they're not paying attention or something like that, I'll usually kind of trust my line judges. And that ball was probably about halfway back from the net to the end line, so probably a good 12, 15 feet away from the line judge. So, but we'll see what the down ref looks. She has a couple of different camera angles and some slow-mo look at that. I think that ball was moving fairly fast off of Sack's arm. So based on the camera angle and kind of the frame rate and everything that you pick up, we'll see how the challenge turns out. Special little shout out to my good friends back at Dike, Iowa, the Morgan family. Tyler Morgan's family always does such a great job of supporting the team. They're home watching this Wednesday night game. So mom, Darcy, dad, Jim, older brother, Sean, sister-in-law, Nicole, three little nephews and nieces, and an older sister, Brooke. So love the Morgan family there from Dike, Iowa, supporting Tyler in his college volleyball endeavors here at Lewis. Probably want to give a shout out to my family as well. My wife, Michelle, and my daughter, Ellie, are probably watching back home in Johnston, Iowa. They're watching, of course, Max Rocky here. So Tyler and Max, both from Johnston, Iowa. I was kind of their coach when they were growing up in clubs. So super cool to see them kind of following their volleyball dreams, playing here in college. Men's volleyball not too prevalent in Iowa, so the fact that they're contributing here at Lewis is pretty much a dream come true for them too. Okay, the challenge has taken longer than I thought. I thought maybe with the referee making that call, with the ball being far enough away from him, I thought maybe they'd make a pretty quick call. But here she comes. Down ref coming out. Can't quite see what she said there, but point for Lewis. The ball was out, so challenges tonight. A combined 0 for 2 between both Coach Jeremy Price and Dan Friend. On the challenge list, they are both 0 for 1. So they both have 2 challenges left. So Lewis is going to go back to serve with Cole Brilhart. If I was a betting man, I would say it'd be a short little lob serve, just barely over the net, probably maybe about the 8-foot mark. We'll see how he does. Looks like he's going to top spin it. Nope. Turns into a float serve. Barely over the net. Passed up by Brinkman. Middle attack by Sims. Oh, this one's dug up by Gibbs. Nice job. And this is Rocky going to get a swing out of it. Oh, nice job by Rocky. So Rocky just kind of putting that ball in the middle of the court, and both Jordan and Pilch went for it. And really the libero's got to lead that back row defense. But that was just kind of a really good placement by Rocky. So point for the Flyers, and Brilhart serves again. This one's even shorter. Wow. Outside set to Leitao. So Leitao, your oppo, 6'4" senior. He gets another kill. And I think sidearm stats is now up to date. So Leitao, let's see what he's swinging at for the night. 5 kills, 1 error on 13 swings. He's hitting just over 300. So nice job by him, along with five digs for Leitao, the 6'4" senior. This is Brinkman, rolls it over the net. Rocky's going to get this one. Morgan back to Prayer. Prayer, whoa, that ball hit the antenna. So if the ball hits the antenna, it's out. whether it be the antenna above the net or the antenna within the net there. If it hits the antenna or any part outside the antenna, the net, the pole, the pad, it's out. So that ball was dug up into the net, and then it rolled over and hit the antenna in the net there. Nice call by the line judge, calling that one out. Sack back to serve, leading by 3. Ooh, that was a low serve. Kill by, who's going to get that? Is it going to be Rocky or Antonio? We're going to have to see who Sidearm Stats gives that kill to. I think it might have been Rocky, the way it kind of angled over to the right. But they gave the kill to Max Rocky. Sack back to serve again, passed it by Jordan. Schwob. Oh! Sorry, folks. Hope I didn't scare anybody there. But Rocky solo blocked Leitao. Whoa. Rocky kind of dove his right hand into the gap there. Leitao was swinging where he didn't see maybe Antonio get over. But, again, solo block by Rocky. But Antonio, just by going up, divvies that block in half. Nice job by Antonio to kind of take away that angle shot. That ball is over the net, but the ball was below the height of the net, so not a back row attack by the setter, but still a shank out of bounds by Queens. Looks like Jeremy's going to call a timeout, trying to get the down ref's attention. Yeah, he's going to call a timeout here. I'll explain that last play in a second. We got a timeout. So timeout for Queens, trailing 15-9. Michael Sack following up Cole Brillhart over there on the service line, doing a great job. So that play, Schwob was a back row setter, so that means he's in the back row, so he can't be at the net blocking and attacking. And what happened is that ball was up close to the net. He went to set it, and he actually jumped what I thought maybe was above the height of the net to set that ball, and it kind of flicked off his hand funny, and it went over the net. So now, if he was technically above the height of the net when he set that ball, it would be considered a back row attack because he was above the height of the net, and the ball ended up getting pushed over the net. But the referee put his hand out kind of like, hey, calm down, folks. That's kind of the signal he gave. And that means that, hey, the ball, in his opinion, was below the height of the net when the setter contacted it. So therefore, because it's below the height of the net when he contacts it, he's not attacking the ball. So anyway, maybe a little bit of too much of a technical description there, but a lot of times fans maybe don't quite know all the rules. I'm just trying to explain maybe that one rule about the value of having a front row, back row setter, or understanding when the setter is front row or back row. So the clock's down to 13 seconds. Lewis leads by 6, 15-9. This is after a 31-29 win in set 1, a 25-21 win in set 2, and now leading by 6 in set 3, 15-9. Prayer leading all arms with 14 kills. Rocky behind him with 9. Leading Queens is Brinkman with 9. Sack back to serve. Overpass by Jordan. Lewis is going to dig this up and play. So Morgan, front row setter, they've kind of got a block on that a little bit. Okay, Prayer into play. Morgan, Rocky, tip over. So a net call on Queens blocker number 13. So that is counted in the books as a kill for the attacker. So a kill is when you hit the ball down into the ground, hit it off the block and out, or there is a blocking error on number 13. That would be Leitao. So Rocky with kill number 10 for him on the night. Sack, back to serve. Nice hard serve by Sack. Passed it by Brinkman. Schwob, Brinkman. Oh, Sack with a one-arm scoop shot, and Brillhart with a kill. So I love what the line judge did there. You see the line judge come in about 3 or 4 steps there to get closer to that play. Love it. So that's a really experienced line judge. When there's like a close play at the net, like a pancake or like a dive shot like that, the line judge gets in there to be able to see it. So nice job by the line judge there. I wish I knew his name to give him a little props on that one. Sack continuing his nice service run. This one, Brinkman, Schwob, Pilch. So the ball was blocked and it just came right down in front of them. So a lot of times blockers will go and they'll extend their hands over the net and then kind of close their eyes as they're reaching. And so the ball hits their hand, they can feel it, but they have no idea where it goes. So a little bit more court awareness, or maybe just listening for your defensive back row to where the ball's at, might be able to get that ball up and live to play another day. Number 4, Brian Camacho had a nice serving run in set number 1 when they were down to tie it up and push it to extra points. Camacho back to serve, down 7. Brillhart, Morgan, Antonio, Elias Rodriguez with the kill. Nice job by Antonio. Oh, I wish I knew who made that first pass. Let's say Cole Brillhart. So first pass, Cole Brillhart. Serving sub, Brian Camacho out for Queens. Libero back in by way of Sterling Sims. Tyler Morgan back to serve, leading 18-10. Number 3, he's your 6'7" sophomore from Dike, Iowa. Passed up by Pilch. That's Pilch. Pilch hits that ball just a little bit long, and Morgan does the splits over there. So first ball passed well off the net. Queens out of system. Setter comes back to get it. Libero Jordan calls him off and sets it. Almost kind of bumped into each other there. So, but still, Jordan got a nice set on that. So nice job by the Jordan and the Libero to take that second ball, kind of on a really out of system pass by Pilch. Morgan back to serve. Lewis leading 19-10. Really kind of hitting their groove this match. That's Mulkey. Easy pass up by Brillhart. Lewis is running 3 hitters. Nice job by Lewis. And Morgan sets Prayer, the hot arm, kill number 15 on the night, probably 16 on the night for Prayer. Prayer with 16, Rocky with 10. Rocky hitting 0 early in the second set, really coming on here, up to 273 for the game match so far. And with that, we have number 20, a freshman, 6'7", Nathan DeGraff out of Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania, coming in as Oppo for Prayer. And then Daniel Haber, number 24, he's your 6'6" freshman from Remsenburg, New York, coming in as OH2, outside hitter 2 for Cole Brillhart. Morgan back to serve, passed up by Pilch. Schwob, Brinkman, got that one through the block of DeGraff and Elias Rodriguez for the point. So Brinkman with a heavy arm, leading Queens with 10 kills on the night, hitting 300. So Brinkman having a nice outing tonight. I'm sure he would trade the individual stats, though, for a little bit better win-loss records on the sets so far for the night. Leitao off of the hands of Daniel Haber. So Haber comes in the game right away, and first ball goes off his fingertips and out. So Haber, let's see if he can turn that next ball around. Hopefully Morgan tries to find him on his first swing to get some more confidence out of the freshman. Leitao back to serve, trailing by 8. Lewis is passing Rocky, Gibbs, and Haber. Elias in the front row. DeGraff is going to be hitting on the left. There you go, Haber. Nice job. Back set to Rocky. Dug up by the Libero. This ball is going to be in play here. There's Leitao. So Leitao blocked back. I think it blocked back into his thigh. And then it bounced over the net. And Lewis kind of froze a little bit and let it drop. So Leitao back to serve again. Now trailing by 7. So cutting into this Lewis lead. Rocky, Gibbs are passing 2, just 2 in the pattern. There it is. Gibbs passed this one up. There's Morgan. Elias Rodriguez hits that one just a bit long. No touch. Ball out. So Queens back to serve again, really chopping into this Lewis lead. I think they led by as many as 9. Was it 20 to 11 maybe? Leitao back to serve. This one's to Haber. Morgan to DeGraff. DeGraff puts that one down. So the freshman, 6'7", Nathan DeGraff, one of your Fab 50 players coming out of high school. Nathan DeGraff from the Vanguard Volleyball Club out of the Ohio area puts that one down. Nathan DeGraff, 1 swing, 1 kill. I'm going to double check that. Yep. Well, maybe. He might have 2 swings and 1 kill. Not sure what's going on here. Don't have to ask about who our next server is. Seems like no big deal. So Queens technically should only have 1 player over at the reffing stand, just the captain only. They don't need to have the whole crowd over there. 13 and 23 both over there talking to him. One of them needs to step away. Morgan is going to step in. So Morgan's going to go over there and say, hey, what's going on here? Hey, you need a little Lewis representative over here. So ball down by DeGraff. Point for Lewis. Rocky back to serve. Lewis leading by 5. So the Queens cut into that lead. It was up to 9, I think. Let's call it a 9-point lead. Now it's down to 4. Lewis gets a side out to push it to 20 to 15. Rocky back to serve. That brings Daniel Haber into the front row. He'll be blocking and swinging there along with DeGraff and Rodriguez. So our front row goes 6-8, 6-7, 6-6. Rocky back to serve. That ball is in. That ball is in. That ball is in. I would challenge. That ball is in. Unless it was out wide. It was in end line, but it might have been out wide. I bet it was because Friend probably saw that out wide. All right, so serve is out. Queens now trails by 6, 21-15. Back to serve, serving sub Sasha. Michael Sasha. Haber passes that up. Morgan, oh, nice one set. So one-handed set by Morgan off the block. Off the block and off the antenna. Yeah, the ball went off the antenna, off the block. So the referee's going to do the right job here, pulling everybody in. We'll see if I think the ref on your left side here in the screen is going to come in and say what he saw. Off the block and off the antenna. I saw it. Yeah, look at the referee. We don't need you here, guys. We don't need your co-captains here. Yeah, I saw it. I thought I saw it pretty obviously off the block and then hit the antenna. I think the line judge on your left there that you see on the camera is going to call that one right. We'll see. We'll see what it calls. That's doing the nice job. The reffing crew bringing everybody together on a play like this, a bang-bang play. Volleyball moves pretty fast. So a good reffing crew brings all your players in, say, hey, what'd you see? Here's how the rule applies, and here's the result of the play. So there could be a challenge if the coaches wanted to. So here's what the referee's going to explain. Captain must be Leitao, number 13. Yeah, if I were Dan, if they ruled this against us, I would definitely challenge it. But then I thought Max's last serve was in, and there was no challenge there. So we'll see what they say. So I'd call block, touch, out into the antenna on whoever that player was, probably number 13. So here's the play. The up ref, what he needs to make a call. Well, they haven't made a call yet. We don't have a call yet. The call is going to be replay. So I think that's the wrong call. I think the line judge on your left, back there by the Lewis bench, I think he called it into the antenna. But maybe there's a conflicting who saw what. I definitely thought I saw it as off the blocker. Haber hit the ball into the block. The ball bounced off the blocker's arm into the antenna. So because they do a replay, Dan Friend is thinking about challenging. This is interesting. I've never seen a challenge before on a replay. Okay, we're going to do a replay, folks. No point. Number 18, Michael Sasha, the 6'6 senior, out of, yes, Pasadena, Maryland. Back to serve. Sasha has a really weird serve. He kind of waltzes up there and then hits this kind of weird jump float serve. He kind of jumps straight up. But he's got an ace before, I think. So this one's close. There we go. Okay, so the whole Lewis players are like, ball don't lie. So Haber got his kill. Let's hope that was the right call earlier to the replay. But anyway, Haber gets his kill. Number 24 for Lewis with the kill. And Lewis goes up 22-15, leading by 7. So after that first set, kind of a scare, 31-29, really fighting that one out. Lewis took the second set pretty good, 25-21. And now this third set, we've been pushing a pretty big lead. That the Queens closed down here in the last probably 5 or 6 points. But Antonio back to serve, just rocked one over. This is Brinkman. Brinkman blocked by the triple block of freshman DeGraff, redshirt junior Sack, and freshman Haber. Haber with the great mullet, Patrick Mahomes mullet on Daniel Haber's head there. Antonio Elias back to serve, leading by 8, 23-15. 1 point away from having a match point in our pocket here. So Elias with a super high toss. Oh, nice roll shot. Oh, great shot by Elias. So Elias with an ace. Is that ace number 3? That's ace number 4 tonight for Elias. That's ridiculous. 4 aces and only 1 service error. And Lewis is going to have 9 match points, up 24-15. 9 match points here, folk. Make that ace number 5, and Rodriguez finishes off sets 1 and 3 with aces to win 25-15 on set number 3. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and sign off here for tonight, but not after a kind of a summary here. 31-29 Lewis after a super battle at first set number 1. Set number 2, Lewis takes 25-21, and set number 3, Lewis takes 25-15. Leaders for the night, Prayer with 15 kills, Rocky with 11, Antonio Elias with 5 aces on top of 7 kills, Sack with 6 kills, Brillhart with 4, Tyler Morgan had 3 kills. Drolsom had 1 to come in there at the end of set 2, I believe, to help finish that one off. John Davis with a couple kills. For Queens, the Queens Royals, Brinkman leads the way with 10 kills. A couple nice nights in a row for Brinkman last night at Loyola and tonight here at Lewis. Pilch, the other outside hitter, with 7. Leitao, the Oppo, with 7. In the middles, Sterling Sims played a really nice game. 4 kills on 9 swings, had 4 block assists, 6 points tonight for Southmore Sterling Sims. We're going to turn it off here for the night here from Lewis. We'll see you back here Friday night as Lewis takes on Erskine, live right here at the Neil Carey Arena. That first serve will be at 6 p.m. right here on the Lewis University Television Network YouTube channel, as well as the GLVC Sports Network. Thank you for watching Flyer Athletics here on the Lewis University Television Network and the GLVC Sports Network. I would like to thank the Lewis University Broadcasting Program for providing coverage of tonight's game. I am Rick Rocky. Have a good night.